What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, this kind of it's gonna be hard to kind of make this video because I don't really have like a script for it. I don't really know where I want to begin. Let's just say I'm just gonna clear. I'm gonna clear a few things, and I know you guys probably have a bunch of questions. If this is your first time clicking on my video, I recommend just not watching this one first and going to one of my recent ones, maybe a few weeks ago, just to see what I do. It's definitely going to be a change for me, and it's going to be a change for you. I'm going to repeat this again and again. I'm not famous, right? So no one truly knows me. No one follows me like religiously. So I don't have fans, I'm not famous. So whatever I do, I don't have to document in a fucking video like I'm doing right now. Like no one cares. No one cares. What is important to me though is updating my community, which I'm pretty sure we have like 120 members in the Discord. I just want to update them because we've been growing at a very fast rate, and I've noticed that once I stop posting on YouTube, everything kind of slows down, and TikTok has really not helped with that. Apparently no one joins from TikTok. Everyone just sees TikToks but don't actually join from them. So YouTube is the main platform. Let's get away from that though. The thing is, if you guys know me, if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know that I used to day trade, right? I used to do day trading. I started day trading when I was in my sophomore year of high school, and now I'm like midway through my junior year. So almost a year and a half of day trading. And if you guys know anything about day trading, people lose money. People are bad at it. People are good at it. Depends who you are, blah, blah, blah. People have different ways of trading it. Personally, through my first year or so, I lost a lot of money. I still lost a lot of money during my second year, and I kind of found my way, my edge, my strategy towards the beginning of my junior year. Kind of locked in, had a pretty, had a couple of big days. Other than that, there wasn't too much, and the sad reality was I just was not profitable. Okay. Oh yeah, another thing. If you guys, if this is the first time watching my channel, I'm extremely truthful. I'm completely honest, and I'm completely transparent with you guys. So yeah, like I said, I was not profitable doing day trading. And I tried a few times, going back from day one and really going back and seeing what I'm doing wrong and learning from a mistake. That's all great. I did learn a few emotional stuff and psychology stuff. Learn about discipline, stuff like that. Like, that's great, but I didn't make fucking money. And that was the whole fucking goal. And trading is not a make money overnight type of shit. It's not make a lot of money overnight type of shit. It's definitely lose a lot of money and make a little money. That's definitely what it is when you start, especially in high school when you got other shit to do. To be truthfully honest, I don't have a job, so I don't have income to keep like the trading money going, if that makes sense. So that was a little hard, and it still is. I still don't have a job. So a few days ago, I'd say almost a week ago, I completely quit day trading. When I lost my funded account, after like a free refill or whatever. I was trading it on Top Step. I had like $100 left before it closed. Like literally, like I was at 48,100, and I went past 48,000. So I was like, fuck this. It was gonna make me lose anyways. It was not gonna fill me correctly. Anyways, I was trading futures, and that's it. NQ, ES, SPX. I had a blast. I understood everything. But what didn't make sense to me was why I was spending so much time on the charts, backtesting, forward testing, to only take a trade that would last for 6 minutes, maybe an hour to the max, right? And it would put so much pressure on me because those trades, like, you have to enter at the right specific time. You can't enter after 10. If the stock drops, you lose your entire account. it just didn't make sense to me on why I had to do so much analysis and put so much time into something that would only last like 6 minutes and the entry was super defined. And it didn't make sense. And I was upset. I got upset. I got really upset. You know, people around me started noticing that, you know, I would get upset during class, like fucking raging on my fucking trades. And, you know, part of that is the emotional stress with trading, especially during school. And I also realized, guys, I can't trade during school. That's one of the main things I realized. I physically, me myself, cannot trade during school. And there's multiple reasons. You know, I'm impatient. Other people are watching. There's pressure. It's just a bunch of different things. I don't have time. You know, it's strict. I got to do my work, blah, blah, blah. I just can't. And so I decided to quit after I lost my funded. I was like, this is not working for me. I've done this for over 2 years. I've not seen any results, and I physically don't have any more money to put in. Okay. I completely stopped buying fundeds. I mean, that was just the only funded account I bought. I knew I was going to fail, and I was just waiting for it to fail. That was kind of my decision, my turning over decision. Now, when I say I quit day trading, I don't mean I quit trading in general. I'm still fucking doing it. I'm still trading. I'm not trading futures anymore. I'm trading stocks. And I went back to like the very, very basics. I went back to day one. You know, I went back and I said to myself, who are the best traders in the world? Okay. Because what if I can follow someone's step of becoming a successful trader and just follow them and copy what they do? Because if it works for them, it works for me. If they give everything for free and I can learn from them, it will work for me. All I need is a few years, right? And I'm kind of in this position where I have to relearn everything. Now, I know most of the psychology stuff, the stop loss options, I know all of that already. So I have an edge. I have like a year ahead of everyone that would start learning this today. Now, if you guys know me, I fucking hate trend lines and I hate retail patterns. Now, what am I trading now? I'm trading that exact same thing, trend lines and breakouts and everything else. Now you might say, oh my God, this is corny as shit. This dude that went from ICT concepts, quarterly theory, Enigma, whatever, is now trading breakout. Are you fucking serious? Listen, this is what makes you cringy. Saying, oh my God, he's an ICT, he must be so smart, and now he's trading something called breakouts. Oh, it's so cringe, it's so corny. Listen to me. When I first started this about a week ago, I made more money, like paper money, like, you know, I just back tested this. I didn't want to put real money right away. I traded this exactly like it was a live account. I made more money than I've ever done trading ICT in those like 5 days. In that 5-day period, I put like 3 trades. I made more money from this strategy than 2 years of ICT. So to me, that was kind of like already like a turnaround. That was like, okay, well, this is obviously working. It could just be beginner's luck, but the mentor I'm looking at right now took the exact same trades that I was looking at without him helping me, if that makes sense. Like I was already seeing what the mentor saw, and then he called out the trades on his Twitter. I was like, oh shit, like that's what I'm in right now, and that's what I saw. So, you know, I in a way, I understand it pretty well already. Not saying I'm the best, not saying I will be the greatest. All I'm saying is that I looked at the best traders and the best traders in the world and that won multiple championships, swing trade, right? If you guys are new to this video and don't know what swing trading is, it is basically when you hold a position either overnight or for a day, 2 days, 3 days. You hold it for multiple days, and this could be 5 days, all up to a week, a month, year, whatever, right? You just hold that position for multiple days. It's called swing trading because you're swinging between night and day, right? Day trading is your intraday trading. So that means that you're during the day, during the 9:30 to 4, you're trading. After that, all your positions are closed. Swing trading, your position is still open, right? Pretty simple. Now, what are the benefits and cons of swing trading, especially with stocks? As you can see right away, the benefits is that for me, it's a little easier to see and understand. The cons, I'll go over the cons right now, is gaps like this, big gaps. Now this is due, and you'll see this in every single stock, there will be a gap. And this is either due to earnings, news. Usually there's just a lot of people buying, but that doesn't create like big gaps. Usually it's earning and news altogether. If you have a position that's up here and you're shorting it and it gaps up, trust me, you are fucked. You're fucked, right? And the most dominant gaps happen after market and pre-market, not during live markets, right? They happen after market, pre-market. So if you have a position, swing trading, right? You buy it, I don't know, on a fucking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend comes around and you're holding on the weekend. Let's do this. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Thursday, Friday comes around. Thursday, it's good, you're shorting, and then Friday comes around and you're absolutely fucked by this gap, right? That's one of the worries I have. That's why I'm currently backtesting this. But trust me, when you apply the strategy correctly, you'll see that there's only gaps in your favor, if that makes sense. So here you'd be in a call and it'd go up. Now, this is kind of it's a swing trading, and it's also what's called I think it's a bull flag, if I'm not wrong. You're only buying the stock. You're never shorting the stock. I know people do short the stock, but the strategy itself is built around a strong stock and a strong sector, and you're just buying the trend in a way. And it will make sense when I explain it. But basically, what you're looking for, and we'll just go on, let's go on Nvidia, because Nvidia is just like probably the best stock to pick. So a stock goes up, right? It goes up. And then a stock can do two things. It can keep going up, or it can just come sideways, right? It can go sideways. Now, what do I mean by sideways? Now, I'm not saying completely sideways like this, but what I mean is it doesn't reach for higher prices, and maybe it can tap here and there. What the fuck? It can tap here and there, but over multiple days, or over 1 to 3 days, it starts to go sideways. Now, sideways means that, and you can see right away, let me try to find an example. Here, right, we have a big move up, and then here, instead of going higher here, which you'd expect, what does it do? It goes sideways. You see how price kind of comes towards the EMA, and we'll talk about this in a second. It kind of comes sideways. Now, it comes down, but it goes sideways, right? The prices make what? Higher lows and lower highs, right? Kind of come sideways into a pinch. And what you kind of want to see is this, something like this, right? So price gaps up, or maybe it trades up, goes sideways, higher lows, lower highs, and then it breaks out again, right? Exactly in this example, it gaps up, goes sideways, right? Boom, goes sideways, and it gapped up here. Whoops, I guess it doesn't want this. Gaps up, sideways, and then guess what happens? It comes back up, right? Let me just delete all this because it looks really bad. So that's basically what we're looking for. We're just looking for a big move up, a strong move up, and on a stock that's doing relatively good in its sector, and I'll also talk about that in a second. And then we want it to go sideways, and then we're just looking for the breakout, and then we're buying on breakout day. Now, there's a few things that you need to remember. Let's talk about the sector. We'll go by sector here. So sectors are basically, in the stock market, there's futures, right? Most people that watch my video know about this. If you don't know, sectors are basically like a big group of things that group everything together, right? So if you look at Nvidia, for example, it's in the technology sector, right? So that makes sense. AMD is in the technology center. Apple is Microsoft. Everything is in the technology sector, right? And the technology sector will lead the S&P 500 one day or another, month, year, whatever, right? So different sectors lead different things. Now, the strategy basically teaches that you need to find a strong sector, for this year, for example, it'd be technology. Technology is extremely strong, and we have not seen like a big pullback in a while. You can see it's really riding that EMA and really, really extremely strong. Like right now it's at almost 35%. Yeah, 33% in like 3-4 months. So that is incredible. It's really performing everything. You can see healthcare. We don't trade healthcare. We don't trade any biomedical, anything like that, because it gaps up and down. But you can see healthcare is doing very good too. But you can see, for example, utilities. Utilities is not doing strong. Basic materials also not doing too well, right? It's kind of like in a downtrend right now. You can see industrial, it's all right. It's going up, but it's not the best. Technology, really good. Consumer cycle, it's all right. Not the best though. It's all right. And some of these things like financial services, you can find some stocks in here that are really strong and possible to trade, but you wanna really find something in the technology sector, right? Because this is what's leading currently, and you don't want to trade healthcare, right? From technology, you can see all the leading stocks here. So you have like, and this is like just paired by ABC, and you can go through this, right? And one by one, you can just kind of go down and be like, okay, what kind of works? So you can look at Apple right now. Oh wait, this might take a while, but basically what you're doing is you're watching the EMA. You want the stock to trend upwards like this. We could probably find an example. You see this EMA, it's the moving average. You have the 10, or the 9, if you will, the 10, the 20, the 50, and the 200. We want the stock to be above the 200 to buy it. We don't ever want the stock to be under. We're not calling it. We're not buying this when it's under the 200, okay? Find a stock that's above, like strongly above, like at least, I want to say 10% above, if not 20% above. 10 or 28% above. We really want it to be away from that 200 and really gapping up, right? You can see here on Apple, what did it do? Strong move up here. And then where does it start going sideways? And it's going to start going sideways. And when you start looking at it, you want the price, you want candles, and this is the daily chart. So every candle is a day. You want the days to pull back to the 9 EMA or the 10 EMA, this purple line. And it can pull back to this or the 20. Okay, so either both. You can see what it's going to do is go up, then go sideways to the EMAs. Go up, go sideways here to the EMAs. You can see it touches the EMAs here, comes down to the 20, barely taps it. And then guess what? Right, creates that tight range. And then it breaks out. Boom. And we'll talk about ADR and stuff like that. But for example, right, that's an example. Now, for example, here, the gap down. So here, I would just not even be looking at Apple whatsoever because it gapped down. I don't want to trade it. It's not to the 200 EMA, but it's under all these EMAs, so it needs to catch up. Here, for example, here, see how it gapped up? This is not what I'd be looking at because this didn't go up, right? It didn't have a strong move up like this. Now, you're not always looking for like huge, like 4-week strong moves. Like it can just be a simple like thing like this. Whoops. Like a simple move like this, and then it just kind of goes sideways. And we'll talk about this because I'm pretty sure this is the trade I took on Netflix. But Apple, and you kind of just go through them, right? And you go through them, and sometimes you can just kind of see like this would not work at all because what is it doing? It's gapping up. It's in the health informative services. So anything related to health and biomedical, we don't trade. Look at these gaps. Gaps up, gaps down, gaps up, gaps down. It's just very choppy price action, and it's very, very bad. You know? Kind of go through that. Now, after you've picked your sector and you've picked the leading stocks, and it's not really always the leading stocks, but it would be preferable if it's the leading stocks. Usually the leading stocks would be like Nvidia. I don't know why it's not showing it. I got to figure out why it's not, but Nvidia is a we'll just do it here, is a very strong leading stock. As you can see, Nvidia is almost up 600% in the past year. 600%. That is wild, right? So it's definitely performing in the technology sector, right? And you can see Nvidia is doing the exact same thing, right? The bull flag patterns. What happens here? For example, it goes up here, right? Now it doesn't completely go sideways, right? We don't want it to go fully sideways, but it does pull back to the 9, and then it pull back to the what's it called? the 20, and then it pulls back to the 50, and like, oh my God, it's pulling back so much, right? Maybe this isn't the perfect time because it did have a pretty strong pullback. What you really want to see on Nvidia or any kind of tech company, or really any companies, is basically this gap up straight. Like you see this, the EMA so like thin, it's almost like right there. Gaps, almost creates a triangle, comes to the 9, breaks this trend line that's right here, and then gaps up for a few days, and then pulls back, and you just close when it's under the 9, right? Here, for example, strong move up, strong move up, strong move up, strong move up, and then here you can see it starts going sideways again, sideways, and what happens? Well, this is kind of hard to see. Sideways, sideways, pulls back to the 9, right? Creates like a range, hard to see, and then it breaks out. Boom. And then there's a whole strategy on how to calculate how many days you'd be in, and then what you were target, because the best way to make money in this when you're swing trading is through options. So options is you're basically buying 100 times the amount of shares that you'd be regularly buying. So basically, and if you guys are more interested in learning, I'd make another video, but it's all relative to ADRs, right? So how many percentage a day does, on average, does this move per percent, right? So on average, it moved 3.2%, and you do 3.2% times then the days you'd be holding the position. So let's say it's 3, so it's 6%. And then from the breakout day, so let's say it's here, what's 6% more than 625? And you mark it, right? You go in a calculator, you do the math, whatever, 6% more than 6% more than 625, blah, blah, blah. And that's your strike price up here, 695, for example, right? Strike price 695, 670, or 700, and you just hold it for 1, 2, 3 days, right? Now, the ideal would be you trade on Monday/Tuesday, is you'd have the position, or even Wednesday, and you'd hold it for either 3 to 4 days. And if 2 days is required, you hold it for 2 days. But right now what I'm doing is 2 days, because 3 days is a little weird for me. I don't like to hold it for that long. But you can see here, if you hold it for 3 days, first day is breakout day. You can see a lot of volume. Also during the daily, I forgot to mention this, but during this period here, what you want to see is volume dying off, right? You see this volume here? It's dying off, it's dying off. It's losing all its volume here until breakout day the next day, right? And then it breaks out, all the volume comes back in the market, and you'd probably buy here or on this day. And you can see that if you even bought here, you'd make some money. But that's Nvidia. Let's look at what I did. I think it was Netflix. And Netflix. So Netflix has something else. Netflix recently had earnings, hence why the gap here. You can see Netflix, it's doing all right. I mean, it's up almost 50% in the past 3 months. Now it's up like 70% in the past 3.5 months, almost 4 months. Strong earnings here. And you can see, look, had strong earnings and then really continued. So what do we expect? Strong earnings. We're really hoping that this continues. And this almost had the perfect setup. Look at this. Gapped up, went a little higher. And around these days is when I started looking at it right here. Gapped up, started going sideways, kind of down. EMA is catching up. It's catching up. So you're expecting price to go towards the EMA and the EMA to come towards it. And this is exactly what happens. Price goes sideways, kind of downwards. Touches the EMA, goes through the EMA. This is CPI day, so we were expecting, this is not, we're just going to count that out because it's CPI. But you can see it's making lower highs and then higher lows, right? So that's exactly what we're going to see, almost like a triangle. Not really the best triangle, but you can see it's forming, it's a very tight range. You can see the candles are getting very, very thin, right? It's not huge bullish candles like this that are breaking out. It's very thin candles. Thin candle. I mean, not super thin, but and then you have CPI day, which showed bullish price action at the end of the day. And you can see Netflix on the, pretty sure it's the 1 hourly. You can see gapped up pre-market, and then we just had a nice breakout day. And so now what we're expecting, and if you do the math correctly, if If you do the math correctly, let me go to my trusty calculator here because I don't want to get it wrong. Let's say you hold this for what? Today's Wednesday, so you'd hold this for until Friday, so 3 days, but maybe the contract's only off for 2 days, so let's say you're just doing 2. The ADR is 2.3, so 2 times 2, 4 point, yeah, let's just do 4.2, right? So what's 4, we'll go here. What's 4.2% more than what? More than the price you buy it at, so we also buy on the 5-minute first candle, so you'd buy it at 571 something. Okay, so then it tells us the strike price should be at 594-ish. Whoops. So when you buy your option contract, the actual strike price should be 594, so right above here. So right here, you can see this is our strike price. This is where we kind of want the stock to go. So to be honest, I see 1 or 2 more days going into this. And if, to be honest, just being honest here, this white line here, if you, let me just make this sure. If the stock moves 2% on average, and today it moved 3%, that means that tomorrow it will either move, and if we just take this here, it gaps up a little bit, maybe. What would this be? 2.4%. Almost exactly the average daily range. Isn't that crazy? That means that in 2 days, you'd predict the strike price almost perfectly with your option contract, which would make you a lot of money. But you could also hold this for way more because if you remember, gapped up for earnings and just absolutely ripped. What could this do? Gapped up for earnings, absolutely ripped. You can see that it's not completely at all-time highs. I'm pretty sure, yeah, all-time highs are up here. So Netflix definitely has some way to go to get to all-time highs. So it's definitely possible that Netflix is going really, really strong and obviously break above these highs today, which had that little reaction right here, as you can see, and definitely go way higher. So talking about that, I'm actually currently in a paper trading account and I'm currently in a Netflix call. As you can see, I'm already up like 90% on my position. I'm also in AMD. So let's talk about AMD because AMD is a little more interesting. And my mentor, which is Morgan Trades, had this set up too. And I saw this way before him and he called it out like almost not last night. And he said like, I'm watching this setup. And this was also really nice. This was also CPI day, so don't worry about that. But ultimately, you can see AMD has been relatively strong, almost 100% in the past 3 months. And it starts going up here and then kind of sideways. Now, AMD does like to gap a lot, so hence why we were looking for a breakout here. But it does set up this very nice range. And if you can see already, what it looks like is it goes up and then it pulls back to the 9, right? Kind of sideways, kind of down. Pulls back to the 9. 9's not really showing very strong price action. And then it pulls back almost to the 20, pulls down to the 20. And this is where it gets interesting. Look at these days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days straight that it does not break the 20. So it doesn't want to go lower. It's showing bullish, right? Bullish, bullish, bullish. People don't want to sell AMD. It's bullish. Now, obviously, we get CPI day here on, pretty sure this was Tuesday. And you can see, Tuesday CPI. So what happens? It kind of affects the whole market. It's kind of fucked up, but theoretically, what happens? We come down and we buy everything back up, almost up to the 20. And you can see on the hourly, when we go to the hourly on AMD, it gaps up pre-market above the current trend line. And this can kind of be drawn like from here. Like you can even do it here, but you can see it breaks out here on AMD, but I had mine marked out on like the opens like this. Oh, mine gapped up, right? You can see it gaps up and then at like 10, it goes above, right? So it gaps up strong, breaks above. You can see price even taps back onto that trend line and just continues. Now, today wouldn't particularly be a breakout day because I would personally like it to break and gap above the trend line, but you can see what happens on the day. What is this? Kind of here we break volume, very, very low volume. Like volume is almost dying off in this very tight range here, where it's really getting tight over here. Volume is dying off. That's what we want to see. And guess what? On the day, well, it's not really. This is why I don't consider it like a full breakout because the volume isn't fully big enough. If you go to the 5-minute, let's go to 5-minute. The first few candles, you can see the volume is extremely high. extremely high. So this is what made it promising. Maybe not on the daily, but on the 5-minute, everything made it promising. You see gap up, strong volume, and then it dies off throughout the day, right? But you can see that even if you bought it up here by the candle, you would have made a almost 2% move. And you can see that the average, where is it? The average daily range is almost 3.3 or 4.4, my bad. So it did a little less than expected. Netflix, I'm pretty sure did, Netflix. Nope. Netflix. 2.3, let's see the average daily range, 2.9. So it exceeded a little bit. But listen, I'm not going to talk too much, right? These are just kind of like things on my radar, and this is what I've been trying to do. Personally, I've seen this have a better impact, and I personally understand this a little more. I know I'm not like fully describing what I know everything, because I know a little more, but I know I would bore you to death if I started to, if I just started to talk about this. So that's basically the strategy. Anyone can do this. It's swing trading. It's options. It's hard. It's emotionally hard, and it's physically hard, or not physically hard. It's just psychologically hard to hold an option contract that can gap down on you any day. But it does have its return. And as you can see, I'm going to be documenting this, but I'm already up basically $200. Actually, let me add widget, paper account. So I'm already up. Okay, so why is it not showing up? My account detail, I don't know why. I'm up like $500 up. Actually, we can check right now. Let's see, I'm up. I started this maybe a week ago. Performance. I'm up $700. And I started this this week. No, since interception. Okay, so I don't know when this was, but yeah, I can't remember. But I've had one losing day. That's it. Yeah. That's it. So up almost $700 in the past week. So that's almost better than what I've done with ICT. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you guys want more, please comment. Go to my Discord. It's going to be kind of a change around, change of things. So I hope you guys can stay for the journey and learn a thing or two. So peace.